Going back to Rejoice, I wanted to ask you, as a multi-instrumentalist, a guy who's not just an adequate drummer, but a hell of a drummer. And I know that you play guitar, and we obviously know your vocal abilities. Has it ever been a goal of yours to create a solo album where you play absolutely everything on the record? Or is that maybe something that, if it happens, it happens, but it's not really something you're shooting for?
It wasn't anything I'm shooting for because, I kind of like to go with the Henry Ford concept. It's like, you get the best people to do that job for you. Mm-hmm. So, but there are moments where I'm like, hey, maybe I'll do something like that. Just not as an ego thing, but just because it's like, hey, for me, like, yeah, I actually, yeah. So because I can, but I'm not like a shreddy guy. So there's times where I think, oh, the song would call for that, but fuck, I can't do that. So how do I work around it? Okay, I have ideas. So I've actually got some like melodic death black songs that I've written. And I well, on these little demos, they're just programmed drums. So I would actually have to play them. And so I would play those. I could do the bass lines that I wanted. I played all the rhythms. I mean, it's killer. It's really cool stuff. I want to do like an EP of just this. Like full blown corpse paint, like fucking, I want it to be like this side thing that I just do and kind of see what it's like.
Yeah.
But do you have
a
name for that project yet?
So I don't have a name for it. And as a little caveat here, legally right now, because of my contract with the label, not with Century, I can do full albums under my name. So if I wanted to call it another band name right now, as my contract sits, I can't.
Okay.
And that sucks because I don't want to always call everything my name. Yeah. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to work that. But I think, when that expires, I'm definitely going to push. It's still me. And yeah. I'm not anything bigger than Queensryche. I'm not leaving Queensryche. I'm not, Queensryche is always paramount. Okay. But if I have a cool sounding thing of music and I want to call it something else, like Eric Peterson had a band called Dragon Lord.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay? And it was like this black metal symphonic melodic,
I remember that.
But he didn't call it Eric Peterson. It's just Dragon Lord.
Right.
So, I'd like to be able to call it something and not just me. Although if it had to be me, maybe it would just be the TLT written in this like really cool way.
Yeah.
And it could still work. It could totally still work.
Like,
but yeah,
illegible, like tree branches and shit, so no one can read it.
Yeah, like every other band like that.
Well, see, the cool thing about even if you had to go that route is this solo path for you. It has no real boundaries or necessarily expectations. So if you did want to put out a TLT black metal album,
I can do it.
There's nobody saying, what's he thinking? That, it's you've clearly made your own path here. And
right.
As long as you're doing the TLT stuff,
right.
I don't think TLT is in a box. So you're free to do what you want.
I'm glad that you say that and think that, because that's really what I want is to be like, Opeth. Opeth can do whatever. They can go from a beautiful 12-string thing into full-blown gutturals into this, really progressive thing with these organ sounds. They could do anything they want, right?
Yeah.
I want to do the same thing. So on the solo record, yeah, you had, Crossroads Insanity. Then you had Vanguards of the Dawn Wall. Then you had the title track. And then you had the gutturals of One by One. Then you had the pretty singing in the beginning of Vex. Then it was full-blown high singing in Vex. So yeah, I want to be able to do whatever I want to do and not have this label of he only does thrash. He only does
Yeah.
You know, if I did a guttural thing, it's like, oh, what's he doing here? It's like, no, he does all this stuff. That's kind of what you would expect. Is you don't know what to expect.
I think it helps too that you are so closely identified with Queensryche. So there will never be any, you didn't establish yourself as Todd La Torre. You established yourself as the singer for Queensryche. So, and that's a very strong brand and a strong identity. So if you want to go and do something as TLT, I think everyone would reasonably expect that you're kind of doing whatever you want in that lane,
Right.
It's just like Jason, if he's doing, Dangerous Toys or whatever, there's an expectation of what that should be. But if he wants to go out and do Jason McMaster records,
It could be anything.
It could be anything. Exactly. And I think
it is.
Yeah, exactly. It is. Do you have any plans to tour the Rejoice album?
So that's a really good question. Yeah, the answer is yes. But the kicker for me is, touring is so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And with Queensryche, we do well enough that we can tour on a bus with just the band, not, some bands, buses have two bands on it and they try to share the expense. We just have our band on the bus, and, we travel comfortably, and we do well.
Right.
So for my own stuff, look, I'm not making those kind of guarantees. I don't even know what kind of numbers I would pull on my own. But I wouldn't probably do like a long thing. I would like to be like, hey, I'm going to go do a 10 day, 12-day run up the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And let me bang out Georgia, up in New England area. Let me do that. And then another time, hey, I want to go west and do Arizona, Texas, Arizona, try to knock out some of that and then come back. So if I could do them in like 2-week spurts, the problem is I'd probably, depending on the money, but I mean, if I didn't really make anything, but I toured in a bus, I would rather do that and do it for fun than make some little money and do it in a van. Cause I just, dude, when you travel nice in a bus, going in a van, unless you have hotels and the stops make sense, then then a bus is a waste of money. But
right.
So it boils down to what kind of money can I get, and then the guys that I'm gonna have play with me, I can't expect them to work for free, so I got to pay them. The problem is when you get really seasoned guys that have toured and they've done it all, like they want real money.
Yeah.
And unless you got like your buddies that are like, fuck it, we're just gonna go have fun, and that's what it is. It's like we're going, like the guys going camping, we're gonna go fucking rock for 10 days and come home. Don't expect to like have a fat wallet when you come back, but we're gonna have a kick-ass time. And if I could get out and open for like bands that I'm friends with, like Armored Saint or Testament or Overkill or something like that, Flotsam, I don't know, if I could get on a slot with them as an opener for 1 or 2 nights while they're making their run, that would be great. I don't need to be any, big thing, but I think I could do shows on my own, and I would love to pack little 300, 400 seaters, just I would love to do that. I would love to do that.
Sweaty, man. Yeah.
At some point, I'm definitely going to do this stuff live. It's just, I got to figure this out. Man.
Well, I'm asking for selfish reasons because I was hoping you would come to Texas and we'd get to see you do the Rejoice album live.
Not to harp on it, but people don't know how much a bus is every day.
Oof.
A daily bus fee is,
yeah,
it could be a couple of gigs worth of pay sometimes for one day on a bus.
Yeah, it's expensive.
In tough times, it could not make sense at all to be on a bus. But I hear you. If you were on a bus and you were kind of roughing it a little bit, you wouldn't have to have a hotel room every night. It was just get one room to shower, and there's ways around that. You got to take care of your driver. The driver's a member of the band, or more important sometimes.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Upset driver, upset band.
Sleepy driver, no good.
Piss off the driver, tour's over, you know.
Yeah, we get really good drivers, and so, you know, if I could afford a bus on my own, you know, there's a couple drivers that I totally know are great, and we have a really good rapport from touring with the Queensryche, and so but you got to get a day room for the band to shower and do all that, and then you got to get a room for the driver every night.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
it adds up. It really adds up.
yeah. We should talk real quick.
Well, let's hope that happens. Yeah, go ahead, Dave.